You also speak about the miracles of Zemzem. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so it relates to the subject we alluded to a little bit earlier about the miracles of water itself, right? Water is something that can literally be a carrier for either very positive or negative energies. Water can literally carry an infinite number or types of various energies. So what I mean by that is Zamzam water, was goes back to the time of Ibrahim alayhi salam, obviously, right? So we believe that water can also be a means of transmission of barakah. We know as Muslims or believers that Allah has put blessing in that. That's why when the authentic hadith say that when you drink Zamzam and you make sincere dua, any dua could be accepted. It could be a means of shifa or other things, right? So it's a means of healing. But we also know, for example, that water on the opposite side or flip side can carry negative energies or connotations. And what do I mean by that? So if you think back to the hadith about the companions when they were going with the Prophet ﷺ, and they passed by the Qawm or the people of Salih, right? Thamud, right? I don't know if you've seen that hadith. The companions went to get some water from the well to make some bread out of it in that area, and he stopped them. He said, "No, no, no, don't use any water from that well. That well was situated right in that area where the adab had descended, right in that area. So he said, don't use that." Right? So this is the opposite side. So their study I mentioned, this is another fascinating work from a Japanese scientist. His name is Masaru Emoto. So he did experiments with water where he had people holding samples of water, and you either say things that are either very positive or negative. And he again froze those samples of water. He looked at the crystal pattern and he saw various patterns. So when people said very positive, meaningful things that relate to love, peace, justice, God, he would freeze those samples, look at them, and he would see these beautiful patterns in the crystals. Whereas the opposite was also true. Like if he had people holding water and saying really hateful, horrible things, it created like chaotic patterns in the water. Volume 3 of his book, Hidden Messages from Water, he took some pictures of Zamzam water as well as water where Quran was recited next to it. He had people saying Bismillah next to water, and he published those photos. And subhanAllah, it shows these really beautiful patterns, including in Zamzam. From an Islamic standpoint, we know that you mentioned ruqya earlier, right? It's well known that the Raqis will even recommend that you should recite Quran and blow on that water and take that water as a means of shifa from Allah also. So again, yeah, there's a lot of things that relate.